Today is career lesson number 3 from my almost 15 years of working in big tech and startups. I'm not here to share any ordinary lessons around how to be better at your job. Rather, I'm here to share lessons that I think will help elevate and upgrade your mindset and your approach to really building a meaningful career. So, with that said, my lesson for you today is that you don't need to have one thing. And in fact, you should try as many different things as you possibly can in your career, because the combination of all of those experiences is ultimately what makes you uniquely you. Let's talk about it. We spend so much time trying to figure out what our one thing is. What career direction should I go in? What career ladder should I climb? What's the thing that I should be known for? And what's the thing I should be good at? Now, there are definitely people who naturally know, maybe they're born with it, what they want to do and what they want to be really good at, what they want to invest their life into. That is amazing. Now, there are also industries and professions like the medical industry where you need to choose a path to specialize in. Also very amazing. And maybe there are other examples of that. But I'm talking to everyone not in those buckets, right? Your typical person working in a corporate role, your 8 to 6, your 9 to 5 sort of gig. You are not boxed into what you're doing. You can still try new things. And if you think your career is limited because you picked a certain path and you've just kept going on that path, whether you're climbing up or you're just staying where you are, all you have to do is become more aware and observant about the tiny little ways in which you could say yes to new ideas and exploring them. It doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to make any commitments. All you have to do is become open to the idea of saying yes every once in a while to certain things that you could do. I think this is particularly important with the way the world is going at the moment, because some of the biggest skills that we're going to need in the future of these freaking technological advancements that we're living through is the ability to adapt, the ability to create new opportunities for ourselves, new income streams for ourselves. We're going to need the ability to switch lanes, try different things, experiment. And I think that all starts with this habit and almost like this using this muscle of trying new things, saying yes, being aware and observant and looking out for these things. And by the way, these things could be ideas, they could be job opportunities, they could be a passion that you have that you decide to spend more time on. They could be a random skill that you're like, I want to try and learn that. It could be picking up a book about a topic you know absolutely nothing about. But just imagine if that random thing you decided to say yes to now is the thing that becomes useful to you in 5 years' time, because that can absolutely happen. And this has happened to me countless times in my career, and I will share my own examples from my life as to how saying yes to random things or seemingly random things has actually helped me to connect the dots in so many ways and brought me so many amazing opportunities. So I say to you, take the course, start the side project, pick up the book and read it, pick up that random skill, write the newsletter, start a YouTube channel, learn something that you know absolutely nothing about. Just do it, because what do you have to lose? I feel like we're taught that trying new things and exploring ideas for seemingly no reason is a distraction and that it's a waste of time. But I truly believe that giving yourself the space to try new things is actually, especially in this day and age, the thing that is going to help you create this combination of skills, experiences, and perspectives and ideas that is going to help you form a very unique career that is very unique to you. Think about how similar everything is nowadays. Everything is so similar. Everyone is taking everyone else's advice. Trends are all about just copying each other. Everyone has this playbook for their career that they're shouting to you about on LinkedIn. No, well, what if you just went on your own path and just said yes to the things that came your way? This is a bit of a hot take, but don't be afraid to be a generalist. Being a generalist in a way where you can adapt, you can be thrown into any situation and figure it out. You can talk to anyone. You can communicate with different people in different ways. You can learn things very quickly is single-handedly the biggest advantage and skill that you can build for yourself in 2026 and beyond. So that's the lesson for today. Don't be afraid to do things that don't neatly fit inside your profession, your job title, your industry. In fact, look for things that don't fit. You want the pieces to mismatch. I think that's a very, very good thing for a big chunk of people at least. Now, to end, I want to share with you some of the ways in which trying new things has really, really benefited me in my life. The first example I have is a few years out of university, I was working at KPMG in a consulting role, and I knew nothing outside of the world of consulting. Through that job, we had an opportunity to volunteer or take part in a startup weekend event. This thing was literally called 54-hour startup weekend. So you spend from Friday night to Sunday night with a random group of people working on some sort of business idea. I am not exaggerating when I tell you how much this weekend that I would never have entertained because startups wasn't for me, how much this weekend changed the entire trajectory of my life and my career, because it opened me up to this world of, wow, I can actually act on ideas. I can think of ideas. I can think of problems to solve because there's normal people just like me doing that. And it just gave me this rush and this excitement and this energy for all of like what could be, what I could create that, again, I just had absolutely no idea about before until I attended this event. So this event was a huge unlock for me, and suddenly I was very observant and very aware and constantly thinking about ideas and opportunities, not knowing if and when I would ever pursue my own. But then, lo and behold, a short while later, two of my friends, my very, very good friends, came to me and said, hey, we've got this, business idea that they had. Do you want to join us? And then I was like, hell yeah, I'll join you. If they had asked me before I attended this startup weekend, no, I probably would have said no. But I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. We spent about a year working on that business. Ultimately, we had to shut it down, but we ended up in the newspaper, on the national news. Like, we did an amazing job with this business. We had such an influx of demand, and we just didn't build it for scale because we were just, a few people in our early 20s building this thing from our apartment. But I learned so much through this experience. I literally learned how to go from 0 to 100, launch something that we built from scratch. And then the dots keep connecting because through this experience, I actually learned the Shopify e-commerce platform really, really well. And then years later, when I applied for a job at Shopify, I could talk about how I already knew the platform. And I never thought that me applying for a job at a big tech company could ever benefit from my scrappy little startup that I was running from my apartment with two of my friends. Then at Shopify, I was surrounded by entrepreneurs galore. If you don't know, Shopify is an e-commerce platform for business owners, online retailers, and there are a lot of people that have built up really successful businesses, but ultimately they're entrepreneurs. There are also a lot of smaller businesses that run on Shopify, but yeah, ultimately everyone owns the customers of Shopify are business owners and entrepreneurs. So I was just exposed to this world of entrepreneurs, and the culture at Shopify back then, so 2017, was very entrepreneurial, and even, there was a lot of support for employees doing their own entrepreneurial ventures while working there. And so this just put me in an absolute boiling pot of creativity and ideas and problem solving, which is the exact place I needed to be to thrive, because that is the sort of place that I thrive in. I think because I was in this environment, I was subconsciously always looking for ideas and opportunities. And then 8 months later, I did stumble upon a problem in an industry that I knew absolutely nothing about, but something was just calling me to say, you know what? You need to quit your job and you need to go all in on this startup idea that you have. So then I call one of my friends, the same one from the first business. And I was like, hey, do you want to randomly apply for this startup program with me? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. We applied. We got into 2 startup accelerator programs, one that was pretty prestigious. And then I moved to Melbourne and I spent 4 months kind of being an energy expert, which I knew nothing about, and literally learned everything as I went along. Met some of my lifelong friends during the Startup Accelerator program, and so on and so forth. I could keep going on for days, but yeah, I'm going to leave it here. Try new things. You won't regret it. Don't take it too seriously. Just try it for the sake of trying it. open up your mind and open up the options that are available to you. I'll see you for tomorrow's video.